I'm often asked, what's the best meditation for anxiety? The best meditation for depression? The best meditation for stress relief? And the easy answer is whatever meditation you're doing right now. But most people aren't meditating yet. For them, the answer is simple. Stillness meditation. Complete absence of thought. Sit down. Don't think. On command. It is very simple, yet not at all easy. I consider stillness meditation to be right meditation. And right meditation simply means it's the fastest way to develop a strong foundation of mental conditioning and control that you can use to build a happy, thriving life. In a conversation with a student, I was asked, what's it like to touch stillness? I don't think I've ever touched it. And the best way I could describe it is this. It's stepping into a warm, quiet room from a cold, stormy night. Once you step through the thunder of your mind and allow yourself to step into this place of stillness, your body relaxes. You can breathe. And your emotions start to really calm. That's why stillness meditation is the best for depression, anxiety, and stress relief. Because it's stepping out of the cold, chaotic world and into a quiet, warm space where you feel safe. Some call it heaven on earth. In this video, I'm going to teach you stillness meditation. It's a 10-minute, twice daily practice. And within 30 days, you will see results if you do the practice. At the end of this video, I'm going to share with you the one concern, the problem, the warning, the red flag about using meditation to manage your anxiety, depression, and stress relief. It's something that I've seen too many people fall into that you will want to avoid, because if you don't avoid it, you can cause more problems than you fix. Hi, I'm T.S. Hall, the Stoic Medium, a spiritual teacher and spiritualist minister. And I help old souls, introverts, and overthinkers to start taking control of their lives so they find happiness and thrive. If you're new here, I'm glad you found us. Consider subscribing and hitting the little bell so you'll be notified when we add our new videos. And if you're ready to start taking control of your life, I look forward to walking a parallel journey with you towards spiritual perfection. When I began to meditate in 1987, I was a hot mess. Depression and anxiety were my constant companions. And because of my relationship with my current wife and the job I had, stress was my constant companion. By the early 90s, I had started teaching, and I started to notice in others something very similar. But also, as you start to meditate, you start to get control of your mind, you start to reach stillness, touch stillness on a regular basis, you start to do more. And the more you start to do, because you're not so depressed and you're off the couch and you're really starting to find energy again, then anxiety would rear its ugly head, because those abscesses that I'd pushed so deeply into my soul would start to work their way painfully and slowly towards the surface. So somewhere, as I was starting to hit my stride and really feeling like I would make a difference this time, like something would be different, the abscess would break open and create this smelly mess. And this smelly mess was caused by my anxiety and the stresses I had, because these internal abscesses had never truly been healed, only treated and pushed back in. So as soon as the abscesses broke open and anxiety took control, I would spiral back down and be depressed. It affected every area of my life, my work performance, my health and well-being, my relationship. So I'm very familiar with how anxiety, depression, and stress are this trilogy of suffering. And I'm committed that you find a way out. And for me personally, and those I've taught since 1990, stillness meditation is that first step towards peeling back the layers of this onion called your life, to dig deep within your awareness, to discover how you can heal the past that's stored in your body and prevent it from zapping all of your energy, so you can direct that energy into what you want to bring about and accomplish in this life, free from the anxieties caused by these unseen forces within your soul, so that the stress you deal with is worthwhile because you're doing what you want, walking a path of your choosing, finding happiness and creating a thriving life. So that's what we're up to. The meditation I teach and have practiced is stillness meditation, the complete absence of thought. As I mentioned, it's a 10-minute, twice-a-day practice. It's got two parts. The first part is concentration, or highly focused attention on one thought, followed by absence of thought or no thinking. I'm going to go into the details in just a moment, but I want you to imagine being able to fall asleep at night within a few minutes. Or consider what life would be like if those endless tapes in your mind of songs, arguments, situations, things you should have done differently, are paused and then eventually turned off completely. Imagine walking into a circumstance or a situation where someone asks you to do something and you don't really want to do it. And in that moment, you can say no. Or you see some opportunity that you know you would be perfect for. And with appropriate assertiveness, allow yourself to take advantage of that opportunity, to step into that opportunity, to bring about something that seems pretty interesting and fun. And the final thing that stillness meditation can do for us once we step out of the cold, chaotic world and into this warm, safe place, we begin to get enough control of our mind that we no longer overthink everything. Stillness meditation is the first step in a three-step process. The three-step process is quite simple. I call it the Zen Results method. Zen Results is a three-step process. Right meditation, right thought, right action. Right meditation, right thought, right action. Perfectionists, don't be afraid. Right simply means something that works. So as we go in and step into what meditation is, let me give you a definition so we're on the same page. Meditation is stillness. Stillness, complete absence of thought. Anytime your mind is actively engaged doing something specific with a specific intention, that's right thought. So you've consciously chosen to do something, and because you've made that choice consciously, it's a right thought. So concentration is complete focus on one thing. It can be, in our case, an abstract spot. It can be your breath. It can be counting the breaths in and out. It can be focusing on the air going in and out of your nose. It can be on your walking. It can be on anything. Anytime your mind is consciously directed to do one thing, that's concentration. Focused attention on one thing. Observation, on the other hand, is your mind, which is part of your spirit body, observing and noticing what's going on in your physical body, including the thinking in your brain and your emotions. So when we talk about bare attention, you using your mind, the part of your consciousness that continues after you die, to observe and notice what's going on in the beast, the body, your brain, your emotions, your psychology, these abscesses within your soul that are bleeding off all your energy. So that's observation. The next is reflection. And reflection is kind of the armchair quarterbacking part of life. This is keeping a journal. This is reviewing what happened during your day and what you want to create for the next day, and allowing yourself to see what went right, what didn't go so right, and it allows you to inform your thinking process of the best ways to bring about what it is you want to bring about. So that's reflection on one's own life. What we need to distinguish next is contemplation. And contemplation is when you start to gather information, see how it relates to you, where you're going, what you want to do, your ambitions, your objectives, your goals, your conditions, your health, your well-being. So you start to gather this information and you contemplate it. I've heard this used most often when I've heard Christians talk about, meditating on a verse of Scripture. When you meditate on a verse of Scripture and how it applies to you in your life, that's a contemplation process, because you're actively engaged doing one thing and seeing how it applies to the rest of your life. So it's a structured thinking process, a process of inquiry. So that's what I call contemplation. The next thing to look at is consideration. And if contemplation is really looking at one thing and how it applies to your life, consideration is looking at things outside your life, people, opportunities, jobs, and how with proper consideration, you can determine whether or not to take advantage of an opportunity, to allow yourself to do something or not to do something. These different distinctions, if you will, are all within the realm of right thought, because you're consciously bringing your attention to solve a problem and to consider and ponder things. The reason we engage in right thought is so that we create an actionable decision. The third part of our process, which is right action, is taking that step, executing that decision. So right meditation, stillness, absence of thought. Right thought is a consciously directed thinking process that yields a decision that is actionable. And right action is taking that next step or executing that decision. Those distinctions, those descriptions helped my stoicness, my regimented mind, to make sense of different things. But why is stillness the best meditation? The illustration I can use is, imagine that your mind is like a chalkboard. And on that chalkboard is a lot of writing. Some of that writing is from your past, some of your writing is fear about the future, and some of the writing is pertinent to right now. Stillness meditation allows you to clean the blackboard. It allows you to erase all the thoughts off your blackboard so you've got a clean slate. On a clean slate, you can then consciously choose what you want to think about. So then you can start to create actionable decisions. When you step into that warm, safe space of your awareness and start to travel into the other areas of your mind, areas of your work, your relationships, your health and well-being, your finances, your education, your training, you've got a clean slate. You feel warm and safe in the present moment, without influence from the past or worries about the future, so you can create actionable decisions. That, in my opinion, is why stillness meditation is the best practice for managing anxiety, depression, and stress. because it's the one practice that opens the door to allow you to make actionable decisions. And those actionable decisions, executed properly, begin to set you on a path towards happiness and creating a thriving life. Here's how you practice stillness meditation. I recommend using the Insight Timer. It's free for all the functions we use. Set up a 10-minute meditation with a bell that rings after 5 minutes. When you hit start, you've got a 30-second warm-up. In that 30-second warm-up, I relax my body. I sit in a comfortable position, not too rigid, not too soft. I balance my head until I reach this kind of a balancing point where there's no stress on the back or the front. Usually looking about 8 or 9 feet out in front of me. I take a deep breath, let it go, and I say out loud Reverend Bradley's request. I'll leave that in the caption below, but it allows me to have a touchstone to kind of remind my physical body, the beast, what I'm doing, which is I'm going to do my meditation practice, my stillness practice. So after I finish Reverend Bradley's request, I'm kind of relaxed and comfy. And I begin to see in my mind's eye an abstract spot. So I use it about the size of a quarter, and it's kind of like a white blob, and it's just kind of floating up here in my head. Truth is, I really don't see the spot. I have to pretend the spot is there. Since 1987, I've not seen the spot. I'm more auditory in how I perceive thought forms and thinking. Some people are kinesthetic, while others, about 65% of the population, if I say white spot, they see a white spot. White spot to me is knowing a white spot is there. So if you can't see it, pretend it's there, fake it's there, imagine it's there, know it's there. Find some way to create for you whatever a white spot is. So once I get my pretend white spot in my mind's eye and I'm relaxed here, about that time the first bell goes off, and that's the start. So for the next 5 minutes I sit, breathing normally, relaxed. It's not a rigid posture, so if you get a little uncomfortable, shift. Something starts to go to sleep, you can kind of shift. But the whole while I'm watching myself create the white spot to the exclusion of all other thoughts. If the spot tries to go away or disappear, I just say spot and it comes back. If I start to see thoughts float in across my mind about something I forgot or something I need to do or some argument or some loop starting to play, I just let it float by. I don't give it any energy. I don't pay any attention. I just release it without going there. When I find myself running down the bunny hole and I'm starting to solve the problems or worried about something that is not the white spot, I breathe in, and on the way out, I bring the spot back with all the loving and kindness of this warm space of acceptance. You do that for 5 minutes, the bell goes off. Bing! Now, as the bell goes off at the 5-minute mark, I intensify my thinking about the spot, and I start to breathe out, and I breathe out in pace with the sound of the bell as it gets quieter and quieter and quieter. The whole while I let the spot fade from my awareness. My breath is going out, and I allow my mind to descend into no thinking or stillness. For me, I consider stillness a level 0. So no thought is level 0. When I was doing the spot, I'm around a level 3 or a 4, a highly focused, concentrated thinking. So I'm sitting here around a 3 or 4 holding my spot. I hear the bell go off, take a deep breath in. As I slowly let it out, the spot fades, and I allow myself to descend into stillness to a 0. While I still breathe and relaxed, I basically sit and don't think. I'm aware of thoughts going by, I let them go by. I don't grab onto them and run with them. If I find out I do, I just bring myself back, bring myself back, bring myself back to stillness. I will say the word stillness if I get really far down the bunny hole. Otherwise, I just hold the space of stillness. So I sit here not thinking and allowing myself to relax more and more deeply into stillness. Probably out of 5 minutes, I will touch 0 and float between 0 and 1 or 2 for most of the 5 minutes. And I'll touch 0 for maybe 2 or 3 seconds at a time, 5 or 6 times during the 5 minutes. I live in the Western world. I'm not in a monastery. I have a life. After I meditate, I have to go do something to make money so I can pay all my bills. People who practice in monasteries can reach stillness for 3, 4, 5 minutes in a row, not 3, 4, 5 seconds in a row. But sitting in and maintaining stillness, cleaning the blackboard, isn't something you can sit and do for hours at a time. That's why it's compressed into a 10-minute practice. So as I'm sitting here relaxed, not thinking, the 5 minutes is up and the bamboo clapper goes off. I take a deep breath in. And I'll take just a couple of minutes in that quiet space, in that warm room, to enjoy the feeling of quiet. Now my mind is up around a 1 or a 2, so it's not as intense as the concentration around a 3 or a 4. And I'm not trying to reach stillness, but I hover between that 1 and a 2, a place I call quiet receptivity, a place I call thinking, tranquility. I'll start to look at my day. I'll start to see if there's anything I really need to think through. I start to see if I'm really holding on to something tightly from the past, if there's an abscess that has me bleeding energy to manage it. And I will look at what I have to do the next day or during the next few hours to see if I have any anxiety around it. Then I go about my day. So that's stillness meditation. Simple. 10 minutes twice a day. Now, why twice a day? What I found is most of us have one time during the day it's quite easy to sit down and do a meditation. For me, I don't ever have to think about my morning meditation. I wake up, I use the bathroom, I meditate. For me in the afternoon, though, I have to consciously think and remind myself to meditate, even after all these years. I will not go to bed before I meditate, but I don't have an anchor time that I meditate like I do in the morning. What you'll find is whichever meditation is more difficult for you to accomplish is the meditation that will allow you to grow the most quickly. So if you've had a really busy, rough day, or a day that you were extremely depressed, or in the grip of anxiety, trying to bring about something new and filled with all the worry, concerns, and fear around that, or a highly stressful day, whether it's positive stress, like exercise, or really doing deep work you enjoy, or kind of that distress part where you're just nervous and you couldn't get anything done and no one cooperated with you and the traffic sucked. Managing all of those experiences and learning to let them go on command, to step out of that cold, chaotic storm of life into this quiet place of receptivity, this warm room, what I like to call the eye of the storm, is where the magic happens. That's where you start to build muscle, get strength, and become powerful in your ability to break the cycles of depression, anxiety, and stress. Is it easy to do this? Not at all. But I hope you've seen that it's quite simple. And as with most things in life, specifically in the realm of spirituality, simple always works. As we begin to wrap up, I want you to remember a couple of things. Consistency is more important than perfection. So every time you meditate, every time you sit with the intention of meditating, it's like a drop of water hitting your depression. A drop of water hitting your anxiety. A drop of water hitting your stress. And as with water, which made the Grand Canyon, over time, it will erode the hold that depression, anxiety, and stress have on your life. So it's that consistency of practice that allows you to start to create the neural pathways in your mind to be able to touch this place of stillness and then dwell and exist in this place of quiet receptivity or thinking tranquility, where you start to gain control of your life. You start to rediscover happiness. And over time, you will notice that you start thriving. At this point, stillness meditation makes sense, or you think I'm full of crap. Whichever way, it's perfect. If it's something you're going to try, give it a shot for 30 days. Set up timers on your clock, set up reminders everywhere, and give it a go for 30 days. Sometime in that 30 days, you'll start to notice that blackboard of your mind, that chalkboard of your mind, the dry erase board of your mind is becoming more clear, has less on it when you start to go into your meditation practice. Because by cleaning it every day, twice a day, you don't have an accumulation of stuff from the past or worries about the future mapped out on there. And you get to that place of quiet receptivity and thinking tranquility more quickly on command with less effort. In just a minute, I'm going to mention the warning I told you about earlier, that red flag that we need to all manage and consider. Before that, though, ask your questions in the comments. Seek advice in the comments. If you're not comfortable asking questions and leaving comments in the public space of YouTube, join us on Facebook in our Old Soul Academy group. It's private. You have to request entry. And as long as you play by the rules, you're welcome to get direct access to me and our community so we can help each other improve our ability to master the stillness meditation. And just so you know, I'm still learning almost every day. And my practice evolves the more I practice. And my understanding of myself and the world and my ability to be effective in it is evolving as well. Also, if this is something you want to do, you may want to consider finding a buddy to do it with you. You can do that in the Old Soul Academy, or you can share this video with someone who you feel may be interested in giving a 30-day go, a 30-day trial of this stillness meditation. So share this video with them, invite them to join you. Let us know if stillness meditation is something you're interested in. Hit the like button if you're going to give it a go for 30 days, and hit the dislike button if you think it's just some other bit of nonsense. Your feedback will help us move as we move forward to help other people start taking control of their lives. Again, if you want to find out more about Zen Results method and what we do here, hit the subscribe button and the little bell so you'll be notified when we publish new videos once or twice a week. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for finding us here. This is something new, and I'm excited to see where we all end up together. But now for that warning. Meditation can be quite seductive. Not the meditation itself, but the end result of getting to that still, quiet place, that place of thinking tranquility, that place of quiet receptivity where your intuition is there, where you get a break from the chaos of the world. But remember, meditation is a tool. It is simply a foundation upon which you build a life. You build a life through your right thinking processes and taking right action. If you get stuck in the quiet, calm, receptive, healing space that's created by stillness, too many times will make the problems worse. Stillness meditation is like exercise and diet for your body. When you meditate, when you touch stillness, that's like intermittent fasting for your brain, where you take a break from thinking. When you engage in your concentration, you hold that spot. That's like strength training. And when you linger there in that quiet, receptive, warm space for a few minutes, that builds your endurance. The beautiful part is all of the other types of meditation are enhanced by a stillness practice. Because your mind, body, and spirit all aligned in one moment, here and now, in this quiet, receptive space, this place of thinking tranquility. As you step into the world after this, you'll be more grounded, you'll be more solid. Depression will slowly erode over the next 30, 45, 60 days. Anxiety will start to disappear because you've erased the blackboard of your mind. But if all you do is meditate to relieve the pain and suffering you've experienced through depression and anxiety and the high levels of stress, you're not ultimately doing anything different. You're just doing it differently. And my intention, my goal, my focus is to help you start taking charge of your life. We start by taking charge of your brain and your thinking. Then we start taking charge of your actions and make sure your actions are more right, more appropriate, and get you the results you want. Creating positive karma and getting you out of feeling stuck and trapped and beginning to thrive. Stillness meditation. Quite simple, yet not at all easy. Until next time, my highest blessings.